This is Yvonne Davis, your traveling warrior astrologer, and today I'm going to be talking about the Libra full moon. So that means the sun is in Aries at 26 degrees 46 minutes, and the moon, which is full, is exactly opposite the sun at 26 degrees of Libra 46 minutes. And this is an interesting full moon because it forms a T-square with Pluto at 28 degrees of Capricorn. So these are in the cardinal signs, and you can see on the chart the sun is at the top, the moon is at the bottom, and Pluto is on the descendant, which is to the right. You can see Pluto there. Now, this is set for Eastern time. Normally, Aries is the first house, and it represents the self. And Libra is the seventh house, and it represents other people. So the fact that we have the sun in Aries and the moon in Libra means that whatever is coming from this full moon will have something to do with relationships. Now, it may be in different houses in your own personal chart, but almost always full moons will have something to do with two separate things that need to be balanced or brought into some kind of integration. So often full moons are actually about relationship. And that can be relationship with a person, relationship with yourself, relationship with something external to you, like a situation. And so it's always good to be thinking about this in terms of relationship, like one thing or one person in relationship to another thing or another person or an event or something like that. It's how we relate to the world in general. And there's a need for some kind of understanding, learning, growth, transformation. I'm calling this video Motivation to Transform, specifically because of the fact that Pluto is the planet of transformation. It rules the 8th house. And one of the things about the 8th house is deep psychological transformation. It's very karmic, and it can often bring up feelings of vulnerability because the 8th house actually rules intimacy and vulnerability and deep psychological transformation. And I think the reason why those things are tied together is because it really is true that it's only the things that touch you on a deep, vulnerable, and intimate level that can actually trigger deep psychological transformation. In other words, things that don't really impact you on a deep level, they don't really have the power to transform you. So, if you're going along in your life and it's, there's nothing particularly deep or meaningful about some particular event, maybe it's just the normal stuff you do every day. You're cleaning your house, you're going to the grocery store, those things aren't really going to trigger deep transformation. There's no reason for them to. But if you were cleaning your house and you ran across a letter from someone that you had been in love with 20 years ago, and you sat down and you read the letter, and all these feelings started to flood back into your heart, and you realized how much they meant to you and how, what happened in that relationship and how it changed you and how you wonder what they're up to now. And sometimes, if you were encountered with a situation like that, you might even try to look them up online and see what they're doing, and maybe you would even be able to find out what they're doing. But the fact is that it would make you think deeply about the passage of time and how people grow and change, and how have you changed? How have you grown? How have you transformed? So this is why I'm calling it Motivation for Transformation, because I think this moon is really bringing something to our awareness that is motivating and prompting us to make some kind of transformation. And again, everything in life really is about relationship. There's nothing that's not about relationship. Even if you are just by yourself, you're relating to yourself, your own mind, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own belief systems, your core belief systems, and that shapes your reality. And so sometimes we're in a relationship with ourselves that's very empowering, and other times we're in a relationship with ourselves that is incredibly disempowering. And this is the kind of thing you want to become more aware of, especially with the full moon, because full moons are illuminating. They rule our emotions and subconscious. And a lot of times with the full moon, because the full moon itself is illuminating, somehow it's able to bring information up from the subconscious into the conscious mind. And it's almost like this light bulb going off. And suddenly something that you were not aware of before is illuminated for you. And maybe it's about your fear. Maybe you go running around in life, relating to life in a way that's actually very fearful. And you hold yourself back. You sabotage yourself. And we have seen people sabotaging themselves a lot lately. All you have to do is turn on the news and you can find so much self-sabotage. Sabotage of situations, like we don't see success. I'm not saying that no one's having success. I'm just saying that there's so much in the news about how people are constantly sabotaging themselves and sabotaging their situations in life. They're not being successful. And so if you're finding there's some way that you're sabotaging yourself, if this light bulb goes off and you're like, whoa, I can see now. Like, I can see how I sabotage myself in my life, in my relationships, or how I am led by fear, how I have a filter of fear and I see everything through fear. Now, I'm not saying everything in life is like that. Obviously, there's some places where we have a lot of confidence, a lot of success, we're doing well, we have good relationships. It's rarely 100% all good or all bad. But what I'm saying is there's something about this full moon that is going to illuminate for you a situation in your life, a way that you are relating to life, either the way you relate to yourself or other people, or maybe one specific person or a situation, and you are sabotaging yourself. Okay, this is a time for transformation. Allow that illumination to come up from your subconscious into your conscious mind and to show you the ways that you've been sabotaging yourself, your life, these relationships, these situations. How have you been living in fear? How have you been living in self-sabotage? Do you give your power away? Do you have a failure to stand up for yourself and set boundaries? Are you a doormat? Or is it the opposite, that you're like acting narcissistically toward people and they're getting sick of it? It could be anything. But it's probably going to be some kind of issue around power. Either you're disempowering yourself or you're disempowering other people. There's a lack of balance of power, because almost always when you see Pluto involved, it's telling us something about how we give our power away or how we try to take power from other people. And when you try to make someone else a slave to your wishes, you actually become the slave yourself, because you become enslaved to your own fears and your beliefs about lack and scarcity. So take the opportunity at this full moon to really open your eyes and see anything in your life, any possible way in your life that you have been limiting or sabotaging yourself, that you've been giving your power away or taking someone else's power, or not showing up fully in a relationship or fully in that situation. That's another way of sabotaging. So take this opportunity to get those illuminations and make use of them to empower yourselves and empower your relationships and empower the situations in your life. And I'll bet you anything, you will see something and you will have that motivation to transform. So I wish you the best with this full moon. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments below. Also, I'll be doing my Patreon this Friday. I do it every other Friday, lining up with the new moons and full moons. So I'll be doing it this Friday. And if you want to join us, come on over to Patreon. It only costs $5 a month. And you can ask any questions you want, and I always answer everybody's questions. And we're able to talk face to face on Zoom. And so we have a really, really great community over there. Or if you can't join at the time of the Zoom call, you can always post a question and I'll incorporate that in. And then I leave the recording on Patreon for all my patrons. Or if you need a reading, you can check the link below and sign up for a reading. The Patreon link is also below. So I wish you the best, and I hope you can make the most of this full moon. And talk to you later. Bye-bye.